You're now inside the mind of an entrepreneur with our very own Dwayne Martin.
All right, what's up, you guys? I'm back for the second time. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about disappointment. And I really feel what has happened is a great example of the word disappointment. So it's kind of funny how all this has happened and has occurred. And this is the topic that I had for us to speak about. Now, first, as I said, I'm going to talk about what is disappointment. I'm also not only am I going to talk about it, but I'm also going to give you my opinion. Like I always tell you guys, it's inside the mind of an entrepreneur. It's inside my mind. So I'm going to give you a little perspective on how I see the word disappointment and how it applies to my life. I mean, things that occur in our life that may be disappointing. So now, disappointment is sadness or displeasure caused by non-fulfillment of one's hopes and expectations or expectations. Now, when I hear that, it makes me think, as an entrepreneur, as someone who likes to be open-minded and think outside the box. When I hear that, I think to myself, it can be internal or external. It can be internal and or external. Disappointment can be internal because it could be something within yourself that you're disappointed with. It could be anything. Some people they feel they fall short based off of their expectations. So it all goes back to the word disappointment within whether it's within internal or external. But whether they feel short of their expectations, someone will end up being disappointed in themselves. Now, if they're thinking external, you can have disappointment within external forces such as environment, other people, certain situations like that. When I say and or, these certain things can they they basically it's like a snowball effect. So you can have it where you're disappointed in, let's say, a certain person in particular, and because of that disappointment, you end up being disappointed in yourself, which then becomes an internal. So it goes from an external to an internal, and so you'll end up being disappointed in yourself because you were disappointed by a particular person. So I'll use one thing for an example. When it comes to me, I always think to myself, no matter what, disappointment, failure, anything like that, it's gonna all come back down to internal. It Even if it's an external force, you could only blame yourself. I always take blame for everything that goes on. So if there's something that I don't even have control over, it's still my fault because I put myself necessarily in that particular situation for me to be disappointed in a particular, you know, external force. So I'm gonna use something example. Let's see. All right. Now me doing this, this is a perfect example. I was supposed to do the podcast on Saturday. Now, what ended up happening Saturday is I thought I did what the military will call it PCCs and PCIs, and that's what I thought I did. Basically, having a checklist of things to do, basically to make sure things go smoothly. So therefore, that is what I did. But at the same time, I did not. Obviously, I did not do it well. So therefore, when Saturday came and I had everything going, I'm using, which, like I said, external force right now. I was using a computer that is, I've had it since my deployment. So that is pretty much, I had it before my deployment. So we're past the 10-year mark. It's my favorite computer. It does not, it has a whole bunch of issues. I use it for the podcast, and because of that, that because of that external force, it ended up leaking into Sunday, today. And as you can see, it delayed when I was going to stream, but that external force ends up affecting me internally, because at that point, I'm frustrated and mad with myself, because I already know it's an old computer. I've had it for over a decade. I need to get another computer, but at the same time, I fight internally because I'm like, oh, that's my favorite computer. I could still use it. It still functions. I'm the kind of person where if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. But obviously, this is broke, so I'm I'm gonna have to fix it. So I want people to understand, like, it's disappointment. It it not only does it doesn't have to affect you in a negative way. Basically, what I'm saying, it frustrated me, annoyed me. It did make me mad. It does make you wanna to just quit, but at the same time, you need to take a step back and be like, all right, well, it's disappointment, and we have to remember, these things are not necessarily, though this external force is real and the things that are happening is real, all these things are just tests, so really, in what I think in my mind, it's not real. It's just something that's just testing me, and then therefore I need to overcome it. And that's what I feel, quote unquote winners do. They overcome, you know, negative situations and things that may turn, like, basically affect them in a negative way. So I feel disappointment has played a big role, and it definitely tests me for the 2 days. I honestly thought I was in the clear today, but I was wrong, because the video was working for a while, and after that it shut off. I don't understand that, but apparently it's the computer, because now I'm using a different computer, a different laptop, and it's working. So now we'll get back to it. I want people to understand what disappointment, any particular word or anything like that, within entrepreneur, they like to, or at least me, I like to look at things in more than one particular way. So I try not to look at disappointment as the typical, negative. I look at it as, it's failure, basically. It's learning lessons, things that would only make you stronger. You have to be able to dissect, the word disappointment, and you have to be able to take what disappointed you and learn from it. So now I know, like I said, I'm gonna have a new computer, because I don't want this same disappointment. It's kind of frustrating. It's, I want people to understand, like, it's, as a part of, as an entrepreneur, and as a person that just doesn't give up, because I could have given up, and then, you know maybe try again later on, but it just becomes to the point of procrastination. And I do want people to understand that too. The word disappointment can lead and leak into so many different things. It could lead into failure. It can lead into procrastination. It could lead into quitting. It could lead into so many different things, and all these things snowball into something negative. It's something that I feel we do have to go through. Disappointment is something that shouldn't be new to anybody, and everybody should be prepared for it mentally and physically. It can be draining just as much as failing. It could be draining just as much as like I said, procrastinating. All these things are just something that just slowly eats away at you, and it just slowly destroys it could destroy your confidence. It could destroy your motivation. It it's it's it can be negative, but you can make it positive, and that's what I've aimed to do today, and that is what I feel I accomplished today because I am here right now doing the podcast. And though it's it didn't go exactly how I wanted it to go, I didn't get to do everything exactly how I wanted to do it. This kind of threw a curveball, but I was able to still knock it out of the park. Regardless, and that's what I feel as an entrepreneur, you're always going to be able to knock it out of the park. You're always going to be able to, keep moving forward. Nothing's gonna stop you. Nothing's gonna stop you. These words, disappointment, these words, failure, these words, procrastination, anything like that, they're just, if you really think about them, they're just words. And how you take those words and how you allow it to affect your emotions is that is key, and that's what people really need to pay attention to and realize. So I this disappointment was good for me. And I mean, it threw a curveball. So I kind of I'm not gonna lie to you. I just, it was like a brain dump after that because I've been scrambling and trying to get this back on. And yeah, it just definitely got me. But we're here, and we're gonna keep moving forward. I want people to know that though this one is gonna be extremely short, I'm I'm letting the whole thing, soak in, marinate, and it kind of the this whole disappointment kind of threw me off focus. So for those of you that know me, this is me trying to refocus. Those who don't know me, this is me trying to refocus. But at the same time, like I said, I know this one's short. It's what I believe like only 15 minutes. Uh, it is what it is on that end. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Not happy with this episode, but it still gets the point across. I hope it helps somebody in a particular way. And next time when you guys watch the episode next week at 5 o'clock on Saturday, it will be there will be no disappointments on my end, and hopefully it won't affect you on your end. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed what it's like to be inside the mind of an entrepreneur. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Inside the Mind of an Entrepreneur.